Imagine a single waterway so vital to the world economy that even a brief closure could send shockwaves through global supply chains, causing shortages and spiking prices everywhere from New York to Nairobi. This isn't just a hypothetical scenario, it's a looming reality. That waterway is the South China Sea, a region whose importance cannot be overstated. Today, this maritime corridor has become the epicenter of intensifying geopolitical tensions, with rival powers flexing their military might. A newly signed US-Philippines energy deal has dramatically raised the stakes, directly challenging China's sweeping territorial claims and putting the region's fragile stability at risk. Every year, trillions of dollars in trade, goods, fuel, and raw materials flow through these strategic waters, connecting manufacturers and consumers across continents. Beneath the surface, vast reserves of oil and natural gas promise enormous wealth, fueling competition and ambition among neighboring nations. Control over the South China Sea is now a top priority for many countries, turning it into a potential flashpoint for military conflict and diplomatic standoffs. The July 2025 US-Philippines agreement directly confronts China's ambitions, setting the stage for a dangerous and unpredictable new chapter in the region's history. In this series, we'll break down the complex history, the details of the new deal, and the perspectives of the Philippines, China, and the US to truly understand what's at stake for the world. The world is watching closely, as decisions made here could reshape not only global commerce, but also the future of international security and peace. The question remains, will diplomacy prevail and prevent disaster, or is open conflict in the South China Sea becoming inevitable? The South China Sea is a strategic crossroads, bordered by China, Taiwan, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, Indonesia, and Vietnam. This region is not only geographically significant, but also serves as a vital artery for international commerce and security interests. One-third of global shipping, over $3.4 trillion, flows through these waters every year, including vital oil imports for Asia's largest economies. The sea lanes here are among the busiest and most important in the world, connecting manufacturers, consumers, and energy supplies across continents. Any disruption, whether from conflict or blockade, would send shockwaves through the global economy, affecting everything from fuel prices to the availability of consumer goods worldwide. The region is also rich in oil and gas reserves, fueling fierce competition among neighboring states, eager to secure energy independence and economic growth. Control of these resources and trade routes is a major driver of the ongoing disputes, as nations seek to assert their influence and protect their interests. The sea's geography, hundreds of islands, reefs, and atolls, adds further complexity, as sovereignty over even the smallest features can justify vast maritime claims under international law. It's an economic, legal, and military contest, with nations rapidly building up navies, conducting military exercises, and constructing outposts to stake their claims and deter rivals. U.S. freedom of navigation patrols challenge what they see as excessive claims, while China builds artificial islands and military installations to project power and solidify its presence. The result is a volatile cauldron where any incident, no matter how small, could quickly escalate and trigger a wider regional or even global crisis. The South China Sea is now a global flashpoint, with the world's attention fixed on every move, as nations and leaders seek ways to prevent conflict and maintain stability in this critical region. On July 15, 2025, the United States and the Philippines signed a landmark energy partnership, marking a pivotal moment in their long-standing alliance. This agreement is not just another diplomatic gesture. It represents a significant shift in regional dynamics. The partnership specifically targets oil and gas exploration in the Reed Bank, an energy-rich area in the South China Sea that is also hotly contested by China. The Reed Bank's untapped resources have long been a source of tension, and now they are at the center of a new geopolitical contest. Under the deal, American energy firms, with robust backing from the U.S. government, will collaborate closely with the Philippine National Oil Company. This joint effort aims to unlock vital energy reserves and boost the Philippines' energy independence. Crucially, the agreement includes explicit U.S. security guarantees, meaning any attack on Philippine vessels will immediately trigger the Mutual Defense Treaty, drawing in American military support. This marks a major escalation in the region, as the U.S. moves from symbolic freedom of navigation patrols to direct involvement in protecting Philippine interests at sea. For the Philippines, the deal is about more than just energy security. It's also about enforcing its 2016 legal victory over China's sweeping maritime claims and asserting its sovereign rights. With the Malampaya gas field rapidly running dry, the urgency to explore and develop Reed Bank's resources has never been greater. The country faces a looming energy crisis if new sources aren't secured soon. U.S. backing now gives Manila the confidence to move forward, even in the face of mounting Chinese pressure and intimidation tactics in the disputed waters. For Washington, this is a strategic opportunity to strengthen alliances in Asia and push back against China's growing assertiveness, reinforcing its commitment to regional partners. The agreement sends a clear message. Any interference with Philippine activities in these waters will not be tolerated and will be met with a united response. It's a bold and calculated move, one that could reshape the entire strategic landscape of the South China Sea and influence the balance of power in the region for years to come. The U.S.-Philippines partnership is now a true test of resolve, not just for Manila and Washington, but for Beijing as well. The world is watching closely, waiting to see who will blink first as tensions rise and the stakes grow ever higher. China's claim to nearly the entire South China Sea is marked by the Line-Line, a sweeping boundary first drawn in 1947. This claim overlaps with the exclusive economic zones of Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei, fueling regional conflict. China insists its rights predate modern international law, citing centuries of navigation and ancient maps. But in 2016, an international tribunal rejected China's historic claims, affirming the Philippines' rights to its own waters. China dismissed the ruling and has since ramped up patrols and island building. In response to the U.S.-Philippines deal, Beijing condemned it as a violation of sovereignty and warned of all necessary measures. Chinese Coast Guard ships now patrol the Reed Bank, heightening tensions. The standoff is a direct challenge to international law and regional stability. The world is witnessing a high-stakes contest over who controls the future of the South China Sea. For the Philippines, the U.S. energy deal is a bold assertion of sovereignty and a break from years of cautious diplomacy. With the Malampaya gas field depleting, Manila needs new energy sources, fast. The Reed Bank, well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, is the answer. By partnering with the U.S., the Philippines is enforcing the 2016 tribunal ruling and standing up to Chinese intimidation. This move has strong domestic support, especially among fishing communities harassed by Chinese vessels. The U.S. partnership is seen as essential for protecting national interests and deterring Chinese interference. But the risks are real. Manila is now at the center of U.S.-China rivalry, and any miscalculation could spark a crisis. The Philippines must balance its need for resources with the danger of being caught in a great power conflict. Success depends on careful diplomacy and international backing. The U.S. insists on peaceful dispute resolution and freedom of navigation, but the new energy deal marks a shift from words to action. By backing the Philippines with a security guarantee, Washington is drawing a red line against Chinese gray zone tactics. Critics warn this could drag the U.S. into a regional conflict, limiting diplomatic options and raising the risk of escalation. Supporters argue that inaction would erode the rules-based order and U.S. credibility in Asia. The U.S. is now walking a tightrope, deterring China while avoiding open conflict. The energy deal is a calculated risk to show allies America will stand up for international law. The challenge: reassure partners, deter aggression, and keep the peace, all at once. The stakes for U.S. leadership in Asia have never been higher. The U.S.-Philippines energy deal triggered an immediate surge in maritime activity around the Reed Bank. China deployed more Coast Guard vessels, using aggressive patrols and water cannons to block Philippine boats. The Philippines responded with its own patrols, leading to tense standoffs and near collisions. The US increased its military presence, with carrier groups and surveillance flights monitoring the area. The risk of an accident or miscalculation is dangerously high, with armed ships from 3 nations operating in close quarters. International watchdogs have warned commercial shipping to avoid the area. The Reed Bank has become a daily flashpoint, embodying the broader struggle for control in the South China Sea. The world is on edge, watching for the next move. The South China Sea standoff threatens global trade and security. Over $3.4 trillion in commerce passes through these waters. Any conflict could trigger a worldwide recession. Insurance costs are rising, and shipping routes may soon shift to avoid danger zones. The dispute has sparked a regional arms race, with Southeast Asian nations modernizing their navies. China's artificial islands, bristling with military hardware, give it a strategic edge. The US and its allies lack similar bases in the disputed area, making deterrence harder. The energy deal is a test of US security guarantees. Failure would embolden China and shake allied confidence. If the US stands firm, it could reinforce the international order and regional balance of power. The outcome will shape the future of US leadership in Asia. The world's economic and security architecture hangs in the balance. The US-Philippines energy deal has turned a simmering dispute into a full-blown crisis. By challenging China's claims, Manila and Washington have raised the risk of confrontation. The South China Sea's importance as a trade artery and resource hub makes this a global issue. The standoff is a test of international law, alliances, and the willingness to defend them. De-escalation and dialogue are urgently needed to prevent disaster. The choices made now will shape the Indo-Pacific security for decades. Can the nations involved find a path to peaceful coexistence? Or are they headed for an irreversible conflict? The world waits for an answer.